Mr. Tenor was a cleaner from a town in the Midwest, and of all the cleaning shops around, he made his the best. But he also was a baritone who sang while hanging clothes. He'd practice scales while pressing tails and sang at local shows. His friends and neighbors praised the voice that poured out from his throat. They said that he should use his gift instead of cleaning coats. But music was his life, it was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, and he sang from his soul. He did not know how well he sang, it just made him whole. His friends kept working on him to try music out full time. A big debut and rave reviews, a great career to climb. Finally they got to him, he would take the fling. A concert agent in New York agreed to have him sing. And there were plane tickets, phone calls, money spent to rent the hall. It took most of his savings, but he gladly used them all. But music was his life, it was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, and he sang from his soul. He did not know how well he sang, it just made him whole. The evening came, he took the stage, his face set in a smile, and in a half-filled hall the critics sat, watching from the aisle. The concert was a blur to him, spatters of applause. He did not know how well he sang, he only heard the flaws. But the critics were concise, it only took 4 lines, and no one could accuse them of being overkind. Mr. Martin Tenor, baritone of Dayton, Ohio, made his town hall debut last night, but unfortunately, his presentation was not up to contemporary professional standards. His voice lacks the range of tonal color necessary to make it continually interesting. Full-time consideration of another endeavor might be in order. He came home to Dayton and was questioned by his friends, and he smiled and just said nothing, and he never sang again. Excepting very late at night, when the shop was dark and closed. He sang softly to himself as he sorted through the clothes. Oh, fall on your knees. But music was his life. It was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, and he sang from his soul, and and he did not know how well he sang. It just made him whole. That's my friend Tim Grodrian, who I've had the pleasure of singing with here for the last 37 years. Well, good evening. Thanks to all of you for coming to this once-in-a-lifetime event. Well, at least once in my lifetime. If you want to have a concert to celebrate your 60th birthday, please go right ahead. But actually, celebrating a birthday wasn't the first thing that I thought about when I set this up. It just happens to be a good coincidence. I pushed myself to do this at the same time that this midlife crisis came about. I mean, after all, 60 is the new 40, give or take 25 pounds and 2 inches of height. But I've been thinking about doing this in one form or another for the last 20 years. And about a year ago, it occurred to me that I was running out of time vocally. So I floated a few balloons with friends and family and received many helpful comments like, I have to wash my hair that night. Who'd watch that? And are you still singing? Well, I felt like the great Florence Foster Jenkins. And just like her, I'm going ahead anyway. Now, I've made some concessions to age. Absolutely no tenor arias tonight. I've asked 3 kids to get off the lawn, and I have a cheat sheet with words that I hope will not make you think any less of me. Now, I wanted to perform on the scale one more time, but it seemed awfully self-indulgent to do this without tying it to something more important than me. And while I believe that self-indulgence is better than no indulgence at all, I asked to use this concert as a vehicle to raise funds for a Just Harvest. There are flyers in the back of the church with some details about their ministries, but they do a lot of work to fight hunger in an area not very far from here. Not counting the donated food, it cost about $1,000 an evening to open their doors to serve an average of 170 people in a fully compliant food service facility. It would be a wonderful thing for us to cover one or more of those days. Now, coincidentally, tomorrow is one of their signature fundraiser events of the year as they host a friendly 5K, and I say friendly in quotes, which I assume means oxygen is available. That first song was written by one of my musical heroes, Harry Chapin. He was known for his story songs, but also for the time and the treasure he gave to fight hunger. And so tonight, this isn't going to be like a song recital, but more like a story accentuated by songs. All of these songs mean something to me. They've served me well in moments of my life, and I wanted to sing them one more time for an audience and share some of these stories with you. Many of you know I was a voice major in college, trained to sing serious music. But the next piece is the very first opera aria that I sang in high school. It's from The Marriage of Figaro, and it's titled Non più andrai. It marks the end of the first act where Figaro sends his young page Cherubino off to the military. In and of itself, it's your typical bass aria, puckish and robust. But what I remember about this more than anything was when I'd be walking down the hall and some friends would come and they'd just start to go, humana, humana, rebozo! Because they thought that was one of the lyrics. And in fact, when I told my oldest friend I was considering this, the first question he asked me is, are you singing rebozo? Well, the answer is yes, but in honor of Mozart, I will stick with the original lyric of Reposo. Following that will be an aria from the opera Faust by Charles Gounod, where the character of Valentin prays to God to protect his sister as he goes off to war.
Una pace per il tango
Thank you. I have a soft spot in my heart for the music of this next composer, the musical eccentric Charles Ives. Even before I found a career in insurance, I'd known about Charles Ives, but Ives was an executive at Mutual of New York, a large insurance company, and he was credited with creative life insurance structures for people of means. This laid the groundwork for what we call estate planning today. And in his spare time, he was a composer, writing several orchestral works and 114 songs, emphasizing unusual pairings of rhythms and harmonies. To today's ear, this doesn't sound as odd, but in his time, he was very avant-garde. Charlie Rutledge is his version of a Western story. Another good cowpuncher has gone to meet his fate. I hope he'll find a resting place beneath the Golden Gate, the Golden Gate. Another place is vacant on the ranch of the XIT. 'Twill be hard to find another that's liked as well as he. The first that died was Kid White, a man both tough and brave. While Charlie Rutledge makes the third to be sent to his grave. Caused by a cow horse fallen while running after stock. 'Twas on the spring roundup, a place where death men mock. He went forward one morning on a circle through the hills. He was gay and full of glee and free from earthly ills. But when it came to finish up the work on which he went, nothing came back from him. His time on earth was spent. 'Twas as he rode the spring roundup, and XIT turned back to the herd. Poor Charlie shoved him in again, his cutting horse he spurred. Another turn, and at that moment, his horse the creature spied, and turned and fell with him. Beneath poor Charlie died. His relations in Texas his face never more will see, but I hope he'll meet his loved ones beyond in eternity. In eternity, I hope he'll meet his parents. We'll meet them face to face, and that they'll grasp him by the right hand at the shining throne, the shining throne, the shining throne of grace. Thank you. So I've had the privilege of singing in this sanctuary since 1981. I answered an ad in the paper for a soloist, and I found a church home. This has been the core of my spiritual and my musical life for all these years, and I'm very happy that I could use this acoustically wonderful place to sing for you tonight. Of course, the church is one of the last places that classical music is actually still performed for regular, everyday people. These next two songs are songs I've sung repeatedly over the years, but not recently. The first is from Leonard Bernstein's Mass called The Simple Song, and the second is a traditional spiritual titled Deep River, that while coming from the tragic lives of people in bondage, still touches all of us as a representation of that longing for something better later. Sing God a simple song, louder, louder. Make it up as you go along, louder, louder. Sing like you like to sing. God loves all simple things, for God is the simplest of all. For God is the simplest of all. I will sing the Lord a new song, to praise him, to bless the Lord. I will sing his praises while I live, all of my days. Blessed is the man who loves the Lord. Blessed is the man who praises him. Louder, 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 and walks in his ways. I will lift up mine eyes to the hills from whence comes my help. I will lift up my voice to the Lord, singing louder, louder. For the Lord is my shade, is the shade upon my right hand, and the sun shall not smite me by day, nor the moon by night. Blessed is the man who loves the Lord. Louder, 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 and walks in his ways. Louder, 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 la-da-dee-da-dee-day. All of my days. I want to cross over into campground. Oh, don't you want to go to that gospel feast, that promised land, where all is I want to cross over into campground. A little tricky putting the guitar on so we don't jostle the mic. So I've always looked for church music that expressed a little bit more than or wrote Christianity. Part of the reason this church has meant so much to me over the years is because it's always been more about making room for asking questions rather than providing fixed answers. So the next song is about a much broader way of perceiving God in the world. So many people want to force faith into a box. And I just wonder, how much more regard would we have for life when we choose to see God in every opportunity? When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church and listen to the preacher speak. And he would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wide. Used to make me sad to know that miracles don't happen still, but now I see them everywhere I go, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so hard, but an even greater miracle is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath, 'cause I'm drowning in a sea of it. The world was in the lost and found, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I'm walking on sacred ground, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. Well, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second rate hand-me-down. But now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. I don't write a lot of music, and the next song is a setting of the 23rd Psalm, and it's still a work in progress. I think this is one of Christianity's most beloved poems, and I originally wanted to set this text for a chorus. And that's mostly written, but in the meantime, I just wanted to get it out, and I've been looking for the right time to share it. Excuse me. So playing a significant role, though, in being able to bring this to you is the help I got from Matt. He is so wonderful at extracting a full accompaniment from the sketchy chords and tunes that I bring, and I'm grateful to him. He's done this on more than one occasion for me. He's a terrific, terrific person and a terrific musician. This is the 23rd Psalm. The Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. The Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. He leads me to refreshing waters. He restores my soul. He leads me. He leads me. He restores. On the path of righteousness. The Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. The Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. He leads me to refreshing waters. Even though I walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table in my sight, in the presence presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy follow me, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord. I will dwell in the house of the Lord Thank you very much. Well, as I said, I don't write all original songs that often, but I've written dozens of parody songs over the years. I see some of you have been the victims of these. I've introduced new members to the church, celebrated birthdays and accomplishments, and even got myself invited to an exclusive retirement party of executives just to present a version of my way, specially tailored to the retiring office head. My inspiration for using language creatively to both poke fun and to shed a little sunlight on various things was the great Tom Lehrer, a mathematics professor and satirist extraordinaire. For those of you old enough to remember him, he was politically incorrect before the phrase existed. I have one example of his work for you, specifically requested by my wife Donna, who in spite of this song is a lover of nature. I should caution you, no animals were harmed in the preparation of this song. Spring is here, a spring is here. Life is Skittles and life is beer. I think the loveliest time of the year is the spring. I do, don't you? Course you do. But there's one thing that makes spring complete for me and makes every Sunday a treat for me. All the world seems in tune on a spring afternoon when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me as we poison the pigeons in the park. When they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, but they still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. The sun shining bright, everything seems all right when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. La da, da da da, dum da dee da dum dum da da. We've gained notoriety and caused much anxiety in the Audubon Society with our games. They call it impiety and lack of propriety and quite a variety of unpleasant names. But it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon. So if Sunday you're free, why don't you come with me and we'll poison the pigeons in the park. And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two while we poison the pigeons in the park. We'll murder them all amid laughter and merriment. except for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine we feed to a pigeon. It just takes a smidgen to poison a pigeon in the park. Thank you very much. I apologize for hiking these pants up so often, but I'm pleased to share with you I've lost some weight, and so this tux just isn't working like it used to. As much as I enjoy singing with my guitar, my real hope for a career was to be on Broadway. The acting, the songs, the orchestra, the excitement of this was so wonderful for me. And then I realized that they also wanted you to move gracefully and even dance. Another dream career shot to hell. But I still think that Broadway rivals jazz as one of the signature American art forms. So here are a few of my favorites. This first song is from the musical Peter Pan. Now, I could never sing this song. It's Peter Pan. Play this part, I should say. And Hook really doesn't have any good songs. That would be the ideal role. But this song holds very special meaning for me, as I sang it many times as a lullaby to my two daughters, Natalie and Kara. It's called Distant Melody, and I ask your indulgence as I have yet to get through this song without thinking of them in their beds, and I'm awfully sentimental as I age. The fact that they're both here is heartwarming, but a little emotional. Once upon a time and long ago, I heard someone singing soft and low. Now that day is done and night is near, I recall this song I used to hear. My child, my very own, don't be afraid, you're not alone. Sleep until the dawn, for all is well. Long ago this song was sung to me. Now it's just a distant melody. Somewhere from the past I used to know. Once upon a time and long ago. My child, my very own, don't be afraid, you're not alone. Sleep until the dawn, for all is well. Long ago this song was sung to me. Now it's just a distant melody. Somewhere from the past I used to know. Once upon a time and long There are a number of friends here from my high school days, and they won't see me singing this next song as unusual at all. But I think it'll require some explanation for many of you. Our school was known throughout Milwaukee for its high-quality musicals, and I'd put our productions on a par with New Trier or many of the great high school music programs across the country. My senior year, the selected musical was Showboat. And for those of you not familiar with the show, it's set on a showboat in the Mississippi River in the late 1800s. And some consider it the first great book musical that led to Rodgers and Hammerstein. It features the captain of the boat, Captain Andy, his daughter Magnolia, and her ill-fated love of a riverboat gambler, a guy named Gaylord Ravenel. I wanted to be Ravenel. I mean, he had a bunch of great songs. He got to sing the duet with the pretty girl. And, you know, let's face it, my days as a romantic lead were probably about over in high school. So I'm waiting, and I was cast as Captain Andy. And they made the announcement, and I was crestfallen, and it was pretty obvious. And the faculty saw it, and they immediately came to me, and they said, listen, this is the best part of the best part in the show. It's got the most lines, and he's got the best song. Well, I'd read the book. He didn't have a song. But see, you have to understand, our neighborhood and our school were fairly segregated, with very few people of color. It made Showboat a difficult show to do without some rewrites. And one of them was that Captain Andy gets to sing Old Man River. Now, I'm reasonably sure that this could not be done today. And even now, I have some concerns about continuing to sing this. But it's such a fundamental part of my musical life, as well as my personal growth, that I couldn't leave it out. We changed the words then to reflect class differences rather than race differences, and I'll continue to do that tonight, as I can't reflect the black experience in any way. But singing this song changed the trajectory of my life. It helped get me into Northwestern as my audition piece, and it gave me one of the greatest thrills of my life as a singer. I was 16 years old then. Perhaps I've weathered enough since then to sing this with a little more understanding. There's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man that I want to be. What does he care if the world's got troubles? What does he care if the land ain't free? Old Man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling. He keeps on rolling along. He don't plant taters, he don't plant cotton, and them that plant some is soon forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, bodies all aching and wrecked with pain. Tote that barge and lift that bale, get a little drunk and you land in jail. I get weary and sick of trying I'm tired of living and scared of dying. But old man River, he just keeps rolling along. Here we all work on the Mississippi. Here we all work while the rich folk play, pulling those boats from the dawn to sunset, getting no rest till the judgment day. Don't look up and don't look down. You don't dare make the rich boss frown. Bend your knee and bow your head and pull that rope until you're dead. Let me go away from the Mississippi. Let me go away from the rich man boss. Show me that stream called the River Jordan. That's the old stream that I long to cross. Old man River, that old man River, he must know something, but don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, our bodies all aching and racked with pain. Tote that bar and lift that nail, you get a little drunk. I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and scared of dying. But old man River, he just keeps rolling along. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to take a short intermission, and we'll be back to do a few more songs after that.
Today, I am a horse. Dear God, did you have to make my horse lose his shoe on the Sabbath? That wasn't very nice. It's enough you pick on me, Tim. Bless me with 5 daughters, a life of poverty. But what have you got against my horse? You know, sometimes I think when it's not so busy up there, you say to yourself, let's see, what kind of mischief can I play on my friend Tevye? Well, I'm not complaining. After all, with your help, I'm slowly starving to death. You made many, many poor people. Now, I realize, of course, it's no great shame to be poor. But it's no great honor either. So what would have been so terrible if I had a small fortune?
if I were a rich man. Yabba-dee-a-die-a-dig-a-dig-a-dee-a-die-a-dum. All day long I'd biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Yabba-dee-a-die-a-dig-a-dig-a-dee-a-die-a-dum. If I were a bitty-bitty rich, yidle, deedle, diddle, diddle man, I'd build a big tall house with rooms by the dozen right in the middle of the town. A fine tin roof with real wooden floors below. There would be one long staircase just going up, and one even longer coming down, and one more leading nowhere, just for show. I'd fill my yard with chicks and turkeys and geese and ducks for the town to see and hear, squawking just as noisily as they can. And each loud would land like a trumpet on the ear, as if to say, here lives a wealthy man. If I were a rich man, yabba-dee-a-die-a-dig-a-dig-a-dee-a-die-a-dum. All day long I'd biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Yabba-dee-a-die-a-dig-a-dig-a-dee-a-die-a-dum. If I were a bitty-bitty rich, yidle, deedle, diddle, diddle man, I see my wife, my Goldie, looking like a rich man's wife with a proper double chin, supervising meals to her heart's delight. I see her putting on airs and strutting like a peacock. Hi, what a happy mood she's in! Screaming at the servants day and night. The most important men in town would come to fawn on me. They would ask me to advise them, like a Solomon the Wise. If you please, Reptivier. Pardon me, Reptivier. Posing problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. Yada-dee-oh, yada-dee-oh, yada-dee-oh. And it won't make one bit of difference if I answer right or wrong. When you're rich, they think you really know. If were rich, I'd have the time that I lack to sit in the synagogue and pray, and maybe have a seat by the eastern wall. And I'd discuss the holy books with the learned men 7 hours every day. This would be the sweetest thing of all. If I were a rich man, yabba-dee-a-die-a-dig-a-dig-a-dee-a-die-a-dum. All day long I'd biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work hard. Yabba-dee-a-die-a-dig-a-dig-a-dee-a-die-a-dum. Lord, who made the lion and the lamb, you decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man? had better costuming last time. That, of course, was from Fiddler on the Roof. Tevye the Dairyman influences me every day. It could always be worse, but, you know, it could still be a little better. I'm sometimes hard to work with because I'm always trying to look at all sides of an issue, even if we don't have time. I hear my coworkers. Can we come off here? This is Rich Winship, my tech ordinaire. Thank you. But I think it helps overall to look at all those sides, and now you know where some of that comes from. On the other hand, I don't know how to categorize this next song. It doesn't seem right to call it a popular song, although it was. It arose out of the Great Depression. But in our land of prosperity, this same scene could have been written 10 years ago for what we seem to be calling the Great Recession. It's why soup kitchens and other food ministries exist. As you have been told, the church has sponsored the soup kitchen ministry of A Just Harvest for many years. I'm hopeful that you found it in your hearts to make an offering to this worthy cause. They've served people in Rogers Park for a long time. And besides the brochures that we have in the back, you can reach them on the web at ajustharvest.org. There's a box in the back for donations, and another box here by the exit to the reception that we're having after the concert, just in case you were waiting to see if I was any good. If we can, we'll try to make an announcement during the reception so we can tell you how much we've raised. This song is called Brother, Can You Spare a Dime? They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there were bills to pay or guns to bear, I was always there, right there on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream, with peace and glory ahead. Why am I still standing in line, just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodle-dee-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell. I was the kid with the gun. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Buddy, can you spare a on my shoulder. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. There we go. Now, you understand now the comment about the dancing and the moving thing. Fortunately. More for the monitor, really. Thank you, Doctor. Let's see if I stand still, I can do a little better. Well, of course, you know, I don't want to pretend that this isn't a big birthday and that it's not, you know, something I've been thinking about. To quote my late father-in-law, when I turned 30, I didn't think twice about it. When I turned 40, didn't think about it. Turned 50, didn't come to my mind. But now I'm 60, and I'm thinking about it. He was a charming man. But I'm not the first person to think about it. And so, if I can find the right tool here, which seems to be missing. There it is. And so, I'm going to sing a song by John Gorka, a medium well-known folk singer. And it has some candid observations about aging, at least other people's aging. Any eye contact made during this song is purely accidental. People my age have started looking gross. I cannot say all, and I shouldn't say most. I've seen them in the grocery, I've seen them up close. People my age, they started looking gross. Ooh, ooh. People my age are showing some wear. There's holes where their teeth was, and their heads have gone bare. Their brains are shrinking, faces sinking into fat. And as for the mirror, we won't be looking into that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. People my age have started looking gross. Maybe not in Colorado or on the Silicon Coast. Back up in Wisconsin, I'd eat brown Schweiger on toast. Those were my first steps on the road to looking gross. Ooh, ooh, ooh. People my age are looking overripe. Some are getting operations to tighten up what ain't tight. What gravity's ruined, they try to fix it with a knife. What's pleasant in the darkness is plain scary in the light. Ooh, ooh, gross. Well, I've always been fascinated with the sound of a 12-string guitar, sometimes to my detriment. For example, in junior high, I was in the jazz ensemble playing guitar, and we were performing the Chicago ballad, Color My World, you know. All those arpeggios at the very beginning of the piece. It was really almost like a guitar solo. My electric guitar at the time was pretty cheap and inadequate, so I thought, well, if 6 strings are good, 12 strings are better. So I rented a 12-string guitar. And I learned right there in front of the audience how to tune a 12-string guitar. About 10 bars into the piece after they stopped. Learning from that error, I have 2 12-string guitars here to minimize the problem. Anyway, I think this ethereal song by Simon and Garfunkel is one of my favorites of theirs, and I think part of the reason is because they use a 12-string. It's called For Emily, Wherever I May Find Her. What a dream I had, pressed in organdy, clothed in crinoline of smoky burgundy, softer than the rain. I wandered empty streets down, past the shop display. I heard cathedral bells tripping down the alleyway. As I walked on, and when you ran to me, your cheeks flushed with delight, we walked on frosted fields of juniper and lamplight. I held your hand. And when I awoke, I felt you warm and near. I kissed your honey hair with my grateful tears. Oh, I love you, girl. Oh, I love you. This next song is from the great Canadian singer Stan Rogers. It uses this power of the 12-string to support this modern version of a sea shanty, telling the story of a sunken ship, the salvage of the ship, and of something larger. It's called the Mary Ellen Carter. She went down last October in a pouring driving rain. The skipper, he'd been drinking and the mate, he felt no pain. Too close to 3 Mile Rock when she was dealt her mortal blow, and the Mary Ellen Carter settled low. There was just us 5 aboard her when she finally went awash. We worked like hell to save her, all heedless of the cost. And the groan she gave as she went down caused us to proclaim that the Mary Ellen Carter'd rise again. Well, the owners wrote her off, not a nickel would they spend. She gave 20 years of service, boys, and met her sorry end. But insurance paid the loss to us, so let her rest below. And they laughed at us, said we had to go. But we talked of her all winter, some days around the clock. She's worth $250,000 uploading at the dock. And with every jar that hit the bar, we swore we would remain. Make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again, rise again, rise again. Let her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. All those who loved her best and were with her till the end will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. spring we've been there with her on a barge led by a friend. 3 dives a day in a hard hat suit, twice I've had the bends. Thank God it's only 60 feet and the currents here are slow, or I'd never have the strength to go below. But we've patched her rents, stopped her vents, dog hatch and porthole down, put gables to her fore and aft, and girded her around. Tomorrow noon we hit the air and then take up the strain, make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again, rise again, rise again. Let her name not be lost to the knowledge of men, all those who loved her best and were with her till the end, will make the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. For we couldn't leave her there, you see, to crumble into scale. She'd saved our lives so many times, heedless of the gale, and the laughing drunken rats who left her to her sorry grave, well, they won't be laughing in another day. And you to whom adversity has dealt the final blow, with smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go, turn to and put out all your strength of arm and heart and brain, like the Mary Ellen Carter, rise again, rise again, rise again. Though your heart it be broken or life about to end, no matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter, rise again, rise again, rise again. Though your heart it be broken or life about to end, no matter what you've lost, be it a home, a love, a friend, like the Mary Ellen Carter, rise again. Thank you. Of course, I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and I got my first guitar when I was 9 years old. I'd save up to buy various collections of the latest hits and play them on my guitar, never focused on the solos, but just as an accompaniment to singing. And so, folk music was my preferred music. I really learned how to play for group singing at church. You know, the folk masses in the 70s. The songs were interesting, they were easy to do, but as far as theology goes, I mean, here's one. Sons of God, hear his holy word, gather round the table of the Lord, eat his body, drink his blood, and we'll sing a song of love. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. If it weren't so chipper, I would attribute this to a cult. Anyhow, I was saved by the singer-songwriters. I loved John Denver, I loved Gordon Lightfoot. I'd learn as much of their music as I could, and I'd try to get singing gigs. Even right now, I could sing 15 or 20 of these songs in their entirety and without any sense of embarrassment. Matt and I argue about this. I maintain that the 70s may be one of the worst decades ever for pop music, and you know, because he remembers more of the rock music, he disagrees. But still, a lot of that stuff is kind of interesting. So anyway, my friends and family staged an intervention, and so reluctantly, I've not included any of them in the program. But I still love these songs, and I'll come to your house and I'll sing them for free. Or you can pay me to stay away. Well, we're nearing the home stretch of this concert, but I can't leave out a song from my current favorite singer-songwriter and guitarist, David Wilcox. His songs have a way of inserting themselves into your soul as he crafts what I think are lyrics that notice the world in ways that you would not have seen. Here's a song about the risks of love and how hard it is to see clearly until you're at a distance. Very dry up here. tiny little planet, whirling through the stars in a traffic jam of orbits, Jupiter and Mars, dodging down the Beltway, driving way too fast, with the searchlights of the galaxy twinkling from the past. At the edge of where it's turning, going faster as it spins, there's a view into the darkness where emptiness begins. A tiny little planet, a backyard with a hedge. You were safe there in the middle, but the view is from the edge. Like the ones up on the tower, who could really feel it sway when they're dashed against the railing, and the railing breaks away, and they're hanging from the wreckage, and they feel it start to give. If they had the time to tell you, they could tell you how to live. Then the movie's over, and we're back out on the street. It rained while we were in there, and it shimmers at our feet. Reflections of the skyline sparkling above as we ride up to the top floor, falling more in love. Then the elevator opens, an old man with a cane. He steps in kind of slowly and winces with the pain. Or maybe it's the memory to see that dress you wear in a fashion so familiar, trying not to stare. 'Cause you look like his first love, when he could run for miles. She wore a dress just like yours, and now it's back in style. And he can see the beauty that you cannot perceive until you've earned the eyes to glimpse it just before you leave. The balcony is bending, it'll take our breath away. The fall is never ending, and it's here we want to stay. The precipice of darkness, our toes right on the ledge. We were safe back in the middle, but the view is from the edge. A galaxy of stardust, nothing but a wisp, whirling through the darkness into the abyss. A tiny little planet, a backyard with a hedge. We were safe there in the middle, but the view is from the edge. We were safe there in the middle. But the view is from the edge. Thank you. All right, we have a little bit of tuning to do here, just to get this guitar back into regular tune. One of the most fun things I've done in my musical life was to front a 4-piece wedding band for about 10 years in the 80s and the 90s. And it's fun to be in a wedding, even if you're part of the band. I did it because it meant I didn't have to dance. Give me just a second here. Matt, do you need to tune the piano too or not?
I think it was tuned yesterday.
Okay. That's the one thing about David Wilcock's songs is he retunes his guitar between every one, but he's a lot more practiced at it than I am. This is a short medley of what a wedding from that time was like, warts and all. Well, now you may think I'm fooling all the foolish things I do. You may wonder how come I love you when you get on my nerves like you do. Well, baby, you know you bug me. There ain't no secret about that. Well, come on over here and hug me. Baby, I'll spill the facts. Well, honey, it ain't your money, 'cause baby, I got plenty of that. I love you for your pink Cadillac, crushed velvet seats, riding in the back, oozing down the street, waving to the girls, screaming out of sight, spending all my money on a Saturday night. Honey, I just wonder what you're doing in the back, your pink Cadillac, pink Cadillac, pink Cadillac. First you snap your beak, then you clap your wings, then you wiggle your tail. No. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. Well, the bride looks a picture in the gown that her mama wore when she was married herself nearly 27 years before. And they changed the style just a little, but it looked just right. Stayed up all night, but they got to midnight. Now on the arm of her daddy, she's walking down the aisle. I see her catching my eye and giving me a secret smile. Well, she's too old-fashioned, but we were once close friends. And the way that she looks today, she never could have been. Well, I can see her now in her tight blue jeans, pumping all her money in her record machine, spinning like a top. You should have seen her go. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I knew the bride when she used to do the pony. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. I I knew the bride when she used to want to party. I knew the bride when she used to rock and roll. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you, for I can't help falling in love with you. Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel, we've got the blues on the run. Sing, Bomberero, sing out a song of cheer. Now it's time to roll out the barrel, 'cause the gang's all here. Well, listen everybody, let me tell you about the rock and roll. Oh, feel that rhythm, it's really gonna fill your soul. Come on along with me, to a land of make-believe. Say the ramble, rock and roll is king. Oh, let those guitars play, play for me, play for me. Oh, let that song ring out, that's how it's meant to be. Well, it rolls like a train that's a-coming on down the track. She rolled over Beethoven, gay track house and back. Oh, she loves that driving beat, she goes dancing on down the street. She says, ramble, rock and roll is king. Oh yeah, ramble, rock and roll is king. She said, ramble, rock and roll is king. Thank you very much. Well, I want to thank you all again for coming out on a Friday night to let me sing for you. I think you can tell this is where my real passion lies. I think that music reaches us in places we can't always find on our own. And the way to get there is to give all you have to the song. Not just your voice, but your heart too. I want to take a minute to thank the many people who helped me do this. I'd like to thank Tim Grodrian again for singing on Mr. Tenor. Thanks to Rich Winship, who you've met 2 or 3 times now, who's been instrumental in helping me with the sound and the staging for tonight, including being a one-man stage crew and enthusiastic supporter of this, even when I was doubting whether we could make it happen. I want to thank Gabe, the man who's recording this thing. If I like the way the recording turned out, maybe we'll have some available for people. But I think I have to auto-tune some of the vocals to make it appeal to the young folks. But making that recording possible was my oldest and my dearest friend, Tom Hofer. Tom and I have been the closest of friends for 50 years, which really means that I've heard his stories more than anyone else. Especially since I'm the central comedy figure in most of them. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. I want to thank my wife and my kids, Donna, and my 2 daughters, Natalie and Kara. I'm sure they don't quite understand why I want to do something like this. But they love me, and they've made the effort, and they've made the reception possible that you're going to enjoy after this. And they've done a lot of the little things that needed to happen before we could all be here to enjoy this. I'm grateful to the church for allowing geez, it's really dry in here, for allowing me to use the space. It's been a second home to me for 37 years, and I can't imagine my life without the deep friendships that I've made with the people here. Many of them are in this room. And then finally, I want to recognize the man without whom this could not have happened. Besides his great gifts as a pianist, he was a friend, an arranger, and a truth teller. But in the end, what he really is probably the very best musician I've ever worked with. He deserves your applause and your appreciation. Thanks for everything over the last decade. Matt Long. Let me adjust this one more time here. Those of you who have seen me at the church retreat know I could probably do this all night. But many of you only came for the Donna Ramlow cake and the booze. So let's do one for the road and call it a night. This song's a bookend to the start. Another Harry Chapin tune that kind of sums it up for me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for making this real. From the first time that I stepped on a stage in 1973, through all the talent shows and the auditions, the many weddings and the hundreds of times that I've stood here, right here, to sing. All I ever wanted to do was move people. I believe the incremental differences made by hearing the right song, or the right story at the right time make a difference. And so I keep singing. I think it all comes around again. God bless all of you. Hang on. We're still not quite in tune here. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, years keep rolling by. It seems like I've been here before. I can't remember when, but I've got this funny feeling that we'll all be together again. There's no straight lines make up my life, and all my roads have bends. There's no clear-cut beginning, and so far no dead ends. You see, I've found you 1,000 times. Guess you've done the same. But then we lose each other. It's just like a children's game. And as I find you here again, a thought runs through my mind. Our love is like a circle. Let's go round one more time. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The season's spinning round again, the years Now, I know there's a lot of singers out there, and it's a pretty easy song, so why don't you join me on the chorus? All my life's a circle, come on. Sunrise and sundown, the moon rolls through the nighttime. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, all my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again. The years keep rolling by, Now that you know it. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rolls through the nighttime till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, but I can't tell you why. The seasons spinning round again, and the years keep rolling by. Big finish now. And the years keep on rolling by. Thank you very much, everybody. Come on up there. Thank you so much. You think I should do another one?
Yeah, do it on. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Would you like one more song? Wait a minute, that's a family member, I think. All right, one more. Matt?
Be careful what you ask for.
If I leave here tomorrow. This old guitar taught me to sing a love song, taught me how to laugh and how to cry. It introduced me to some friends of mine and brightened up some days, helped me on some cold and lonely nights. Oh, what a friend to have on those cold and lonely nights. This old guitar gave me my lovely lady. It opened up her eyes and ears to me. It brought us close together, and I guess it broke her heart. It opened up a place for us to be. Oh, what a lovely place and a lovely space to be. This old guitar gave me my life and my living, and all the things you know I love to do. To serenade the stars that shine on a sunny mountainside, most of all, to sing my songs for you. I love to sing my songs to you. Yes, I do, you know. Thank you so much. Let's go eat some cake.